Uh-oh.
Wait, we're recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I am a comedian.
I'm an actress.
We are a married couple.
This is our pandemical podcast.
It's called Stayfhomekins.
And we don't do anything.
This is it.
But talk on this podcast.
This is it. Here's what we do.
There's nothing.
Don't talk all week long so we can save it up.
I mean, sometimes that does happen just by like the nature of our lives.
It's true. It's true.
Well, it's Friday night, y'all. I got my weekend water.
We got our weekend water. Janie's drinking out of a glass from... Oh, okay. I want to say our Kinship Goods in West Virginia, who makes our merch.
Our official podcast merch.
Official podcast merch. If you see others... Oh, please don't accept...
I'm suing them.
I can't wait. I'll see you in court.
I'm litigious.
I'm litigious. What if that
I'm
was
litigious.
What if that your catchphrase?
Hi, I'm Janie, and I'm litigious.
That's like your Real Housewives intro.
Wait, I don't know that show, but okay, fine.
I don't know it that well because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, there is an intro.
Yeah.
Where they each of them gets a little solo moment where they say, "It's me, and I do this, and you better believe it."
Wait, what's yours then? I'm Janie. Hi, I'm Janie, and I'm litigious.
But I think it has to be
I'm
phrased
throwing
like...
it to you.
No, I know,
Okay.
but I think it has to be phrased like a cute little soundbite.
I thought that was one. No?
It's a very brief soundbite.
Oh, like there has to be more, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Hi, I'm Janie, and I'm litigious. Watch out, or I'll sue you.
There you go.
Okay, what's yours?
I think what they try to do is wordplay.
Oh, shit.
Where it's like, if you may see me at the bar, but I'll see you in court. Like that kind of thing.
Okay. Hi, I'm Janie, and I'm litigious. Wait, sir. Hi, I'm Janie. Pick up. Hi, I'm Janie.
Yeah, whoever's editing this.
By the way, I'm not editing this. Hi, I'm Janie, and I'm litigious. You may see me at the bar with my weekend water, but I'll see you in court with your lawyer.
That's good. You keep the brand up.
Okay, now you do. Now you do. Now you do you. You, what are you?
Wait, I don't even know what I am. What are
you?
You're litigious.
Yeah.
What pairs well with that?
Judgmental?
Yeah, let's say judgmental.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Paul. If I'm looking down my nose at you, it's only because you're beneath me. That was really good, actually.
Wait, that's your soundbite for our...
Yes. For our reality show,
the real
spin-off of this show.
The Real Homekins of Los Angeles.
Can we say, okay, first of all, we'll talk about the election. It finally happened.
Oh, there was an election? That was going to be your joke.
That sounds like me.
Wait, there was an election? Was there?
I thought there was a sale on stickers or something.
There was a sale on stickers. Because everyone had those I voted.
Coincidentally, there was a sale on stickers. You can wear those all year round.
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Yeah.
That's actually funny because it would make people panic.
What if you put it on your forehead like it was Ash Wednesday?
What if you did Ash Wednesday some other time?
Okay, wait, what were you going to say?
That this has been such a crazy week, very tense week.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to tell them about my Monday night. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Keep going.
It was sad.
Keep going.
But we voted early.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Janie even dropped off ballots for friends.
It's allowed. It's legal, y'all. Don't.
She's litigious.
They were signed, sealed, and delivered.
our friends Aaron and Krista, who
they went off to Colorado.
Like cowards. They fled to Colorado.
Yeah, they did.
Colorado.
The pandemic came down and they were like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
They're pandemical chickens.
See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
They literally said, see you, wouldn't want to be you. Then they made chicken noises.
What was so funny is they kept waiting for the goddamn mail-in, their goddamn California mail-in.
Yeah.
And it never came. And then they had to request another one. And then they had to FedEx it to me. And Aaron was like, do you know how much that costs? And I was like, $52. And he's like, $47. And I was like, yeah, you overnighted me.
Doesn't sound as much as $52. So I guess I'm not that impressed.
Anyway, keep going.
So
we voted early.
We voted early. And then we're watching the returns. And it's always that thing of they prepare you that it's not. They're not going to say like, and the president has decided tonight. Like that's.
I mean, the only way that would happen is if everybody voted for like the same person.
Yes.
Which is not how it works.
Right.
There's still people that don't vote for the right person.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Let the right one in, as the vampire movie once told us.
Oh, and they warned us of that red mirage thing.
Absolutely.
They've been talking about that for weeks, y'all. And the reason it ain't called tonight is because someone else is litigious, not just me.
That's. I think there's someone else that's litigious. Yeah, it's not. So I think what happens is that you are told every one of these elections, you're told it's not going to be decided tonight. But we're watching the returns, and then of course they say we're projecting this state, goes to whatever, even the Senate races and stuff like that. And so once you hear the term projected, it puts in your mind the idea like, oh, we're going to get a result tonight because they're already talking about projecting things.
It's the one day a year we like math nerds, or the one day.
Except everybody hates
math nerds.
Nate Silver.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I have opinions because I have opinions.
Well, I want to hear them because what's so
it's
so funny to me that I sort of remember Nate Silver when he first came to prominence. Was it during the Obama election, the first Obama election?
I don't remember his trajectory necessarily, but I know he landed on the map in 2016.
There was a time everybody liked him.
I like him.
There was a time that everybody liked him. And everybody said, "Oh, this guy's great. It's math. Blah blah blah."
He's smart.
Yes, I'm not saying he's not.
Okay,
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying there came a time, I guess, after 2016.
Well, 2016 was an outlier.
Turned on him
they did.
so hard.
They thought it was his fault.
Yeah, and now whenever he says anything, there's a bunch of people
that
are
drag
like,
him.
Shut the fuck up, Nate.
But they follow him rigidly. Here's what's funny, though. Okay, here's the funny thing about Nate Silver. Because I follow him during these elections, whatever. And another thing is, here's what gets my goat.
Okay, new segment.
People... Here's what gets my goat.
It's time for Goat Gets. Janie.
Gigi's. So people have a problem with the polls, rightly so. Mm-hmm. But what they don't understand is polls can be flawed, fine. They are merely a snapshot. They are not a crystal ball.
That's right.
Okay, number one. But then the thing that really bugs me is they blame Nate Silver.
Yes.
For the polls, and he's not even a pollster.
No.
The guy doesn't even do any polling at all. The only thing that Nate Silver does, he's like a tea leaf reader. It's not the same thing as a pollster.
Yes.
A pollster is a totally different profession. Mm-hmm. And he's just somebody who is very knowledgeable about statistics and stuff like that. So he's able to interpret these things, and he can't interpret things that are flawed, but he also does weight certain polls. Like he knows he has certain ratings, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's like an aggregator. Mm-hmm. So basically you're shooting the messenger when you yell at him.
Right.
However, I will say this, and there are some criticisms that could be made. I don't think they should go after him as a personal human being. over it.
No, they should not.
Because he's just like a math guy. However, they're like, so he has this model on his website, and it's very visual, and it's kind of like colorful and bouncy and, very clean, and, I kind of like it or whatever. But the model instilled, and here's what's going to happen, because I already know Nate Silver, because I listened to his podcast. He's going to end up being right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Not about some of the Senate races, but about like the presidential.
Right.
Because he's been reading these tea leaves now for months. Mm-hmm. And he has a team of people, and they, they like parse it out, and they run this model, and they have a fucking algorithm and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's only as good as the polls that are taken. So it's not their fault if they're wrong or right. But I have a feeling that he's going to end up being right. The only thing that his models are they allow for some emotion, because what happens are the models are like, oh my God, there's no way Trump can win. And he's been saying for weeks now, like, there's still a way. Like, he's been saying, because he got so yelled at in 2016. It's just that he understands how this stuff works differently. I know people are going to be mad at me because I feel defensive of Nate Silver. They're going to come after me.
No, I think
they're going to come after me.
Maybe some people will. I think that's stupid. But I think there's a lot of people that I have no problem with Nate Silver. I just think it's like a funny thing that all of a sudden everyone, they loved him and then they turned on him.
Because
and it's he's not doing anything.
Because he didn't prepare us for 2016, and he was shocked at 2016 as well.
Right.
But there was always like a 30% chance in 2016 that Trump could win, and it just so happened it fell on the 30 versus the 70.
Yeah.
But also there was a lot of shit that happened in 2016. I don't want to relitigate the 2016 stuff.
Yes, why should we be like everybody else?
Well, but there's just so many. There were so many things. There were so many things
during the election night when we were watching the returns.
This year or 2016?
This year.
Yeah,
it was driving me crazy how many times they were like, as opposed to in 2016, it's like, I don't want to hear that anymore.
I know, but
stop talking about that.
But they wanted like they compare it to what Clinton
they want the comparison, but it started to be just meaningless after a while, and it was just traumatic. Like, stop saying traumatic. 2016.
Well, it was traumatic.
It was. It absolutely was.
So anyway, here we are on election week.
Now Monday night.
Okay.
Election night Eve.
So election night Eve, of course, there's all this, like, everyone's trying to calm their anxiety. Like, Paul and I were like, let's just watch a movie. We can't do anything, whatever,
I did my show with Lauren in the early evening.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Was that Monday or Sunday?
That was Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay. So,
Score.
Who knows anymore? What is today? What is today? What is this year? I don't know. So we're watching this movie, and in the middle of it, I was stricken with food poisoning. Stricken. Like, it.
Straight up.
Not only did it hit me in the middle of like, I had dozed off very comfortably and relaxing.
What movie was it?
Emma. And I'd seen Emma.
Oh, Emma.
Yeah, I'd seen it anyway.
Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was good.
Starring Queen's Gambit.
But I'd already seen it because starring Queen. But, and Prince Charles from The Crown.
That's right.
So anyway, so I was like this pain hit me, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. I've eaten something very toxic, and
masculinity.
Well, maybe, honestly, maybe my body was reacting to what was getting purged from the White House. It was like, a
premonition.
It was like, so I was like, okay, this is gonna have to happen. Like, this is gonna have to get out of me somehow, and I'm having chills and sweat at the same time, and the pain and nausea, like so much nausea. Like, so I ghosted on Paul. Like, I guess he just thought I was going to go to the bathroom and come back. And that was not what was happening. What was happening was I was going in the other room to assess whether or not I was going to live or die through the night.
Meanwhile, I'm obsessing over the outfits of Bill Nye.
Like, I literally was like, okay, what's the calculation here? Like, it's COVID time. Like, if he has to take me to the ER in the middle of the night, like, that's going to be bad. He's been drinking wine. Like, I don't want to get him behind the wheel. Like, I don't know what's
Hospital party.
like, how's this going to play out? I didn't even know what ER to go to. Like, that's the right, I don't even know.
Do you know what? I don't want to sidetrack you. Remember what you were going to say. That's not something we have investigated since we've lived here, and we've lived here too long.
Well, but while this was all going on for me, I was on this Facebook group with these other SAG actresses. I'm in this group, and I'm like hypothetically, if I had to go to the ER in the middle of the night, like, who takes our insurance in this area? And then everyone's like, honey, like, do this, do that, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, Paul, you gotta bring a bucket by the bed. Whatever. So he brings a bucket, and I just, like, here's the thing about food poisoning, and it's the same thing about the 2020 election. My food poisoning.
You are tying it up in a bow.
You don't know which way it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if it's gonna be mercifully swift and you won't be dehydrated, or if you're going to be, having to be hooked up to an IV and have
have you had to do that before?
In olden days, yeah.
For food poisoning, really?
Well, for dehydration, for illness.
Because of your world tour.
I mean, you've never been sick enough where you needed an IV in the middle of the night?
No, I haven't.
Okay. First of all, can I just say something about...
Your eyes were so big when you were looking at me.
Paul, okay, I'm not kidding. I think you should be studied for science. Because I don't understand this constitution that you have. Because you have a constitution that is the opposite of mine.
It's true. You have a far more delicate constitution. Now, look, this is not to say that
also we ate the same thing, y'all.
We ate the same thing.
We ate the same fucking thing.
And this has happened
any minute, he's like, I feel fine, and I was like, well, I ate an hour before you.
You did give me the
so
time.
I was kind of like it's gonna happen.
TikTok.
Yeah, I was a little like, like, it's gonna happen any minute. And now I'm making the calculation of, like, one of us is gonna have to sleep in another room because I don't want to jostle the bed and whatever. And so and he's like, oh yeah, that's true. And I kept, like, texting, like, you still feel okay? And he's like. He's like, I'm fine, or whatever. This has happened so many times. The only one time we both got norovirus, and it struck you entirely different. It manifested so differently in your body.
That's true.
Than it did in my body.
Yeah.
Like, I'm, like, barfing. Like, I'm, like, sweat. I'm, like, pouring sweat. I'm, like it's like.
I just mostly had a fever. It was.
Yeah, you were just
really
fatigued
bad.
and
I was so tired, and I was so, like, hot and cold, and I had to lie down under covers, and I remember when it got really bad, like when I felt it, like where my teeth were chattering.
But you never had nausea.
Sweating.
Never had nausea.
Never really had nausea.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. By the way, I had norovirus on Christmas twice in my life.
I know.
I get norovirus on a plane, like,
She loves it.
Like with peanuts.
It's like her duty free.
It's like, yeah. Well, anyway, my point is, when Tuesday rolled around and I was mercifully on the mend from this bout of poison, and then I'm like, I'm like thinking, like, maybe I was targeted. Maybe, because I did defend Navalny on Twitter.
Defend who?
Oh, honey, please. We talked about this. Navalny.
I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Okay. Navalny
Famous
is
tennis player.
No. Way more important. He is Putin's opposition.
Oh, yes. Okay. Now I remember this.
He was poisoned and he lived.
Yeah.
And the guy.
And because you defended him, you thought, Putin was like, "Oh, we'll just see about that."
I was following
show you.
Navalny like y'all don't even know. Like I wanted him so bad to be okay, and so, and then he survived, and that guy going back to Russia.
Yeah,
that is balls.
That's balls
of steel.
How about it?
Okay.
How about it?
All right. I'm just saying, like, did I eat? Was the dinner bad?
You did throw out the leftovers, which I had a little twinge of like, well, I would have.
No, I made Paul. So the next day I came out of the room and I was like, Paul, I was like, I need you to dump everything we ate last night and I need you to spray down. I made you put all the dishes in the dishwasher and run them immediately. Yeah, and then I made you spray down
the counters.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I put Paul to work, y'all. You don't even know. Like, he was bringing me, like, medicine. I was like, I need some Petto. It's like, I don't even know.
If it's sickness and health, honey. That's what it's all about.
You know, I dated, you know that I dated, or that I was engaged to that,
oh, yes.
That malignant narcissist. And I ignored all the red flags because I had no experience or like I'd never encountered anyone with no empathy. Like I didn't understand. Yeah. And he was good at mirroring this like empathy and stuff like that. And early in our relationship, and I'll never forget this, and this was like a huge red flag, but I turned it around in my mind, which might be how like maybe I'll get radicalized by Q. Like, you know, like, but I got like a norovirus or something like early, and I got really sick, and we were like moving apartments. So it wasn't that early. Like I think we were moving in together, and we were supposed to spend the night at a friend's, and I was like, I gotta stay at a hotel because I need like I can't sleep on a couch. Like I was like barfing, and like I probably needed to go to the hospital, and I felt like total coldness from him. And I always like appreciate, like when you're so like kind to me when I'm sick, like I feel it in my body. Like I feel it like a relief. Is that weird?
No. What was he like? Like, was he like going through the motions
like scientific.
Of like, I have to pretend to, I have to pretend to care about this person.
No, he like, it was just like robotic, like kind of like, I'd be like, I think I need an ice chip. This is me like, I think I need an ice chip, or can you go to the vending machine and get a Coke? And he'd be like, you know, like just like a blankness of the experience I was having. And in my mind, I justified it as like,
but I mean, I'm sorry, how would he react? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like the reaction was lacking in care, but he was there by my side.
Well, I'm asking you to describe it. Like he would he just say, "Oh, okay," and then go get it for you? But it seemed like he had to think about it.
Well, this is so long ago, but like I think it would be like it was less that he would do it. Mm-hmm. He would do it and not have to think about it, but I felt like when I was lying on the cold tile of the bathroom, like, and he was looking down at me, there was a lack of like if you were to see like a sick animal on the ground, your impulse might be to be like, oh, you know, but his impulse was like, I'd be like, you know, can I have an ice chip? And he'd be like, he would just go get it. But there was no, like, he was there. And so the actions spoke like this person was being a support.
Right.
To
He's
me.
technically doing the things that meet these requirements.
Yes. But my brain would then override the lack of, because like people have micro expressions that you can pick up on and stuff like that. And so my brain would automatically override the fact that, it didn't feel right.
Yeah. It didn't feel natural.
And I knew he was very intellectual. And so, you know, you
thought he's like a Mr. Spock or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, someone who's intellectual, you can just be like, oh, well, they're just like They're just
Yeah,
like,
he puts a sweater on backwards.
yeah, it's like whatever, you know. But then like, you know, at the end of The Usual Suspects, when you look up here and he looked over there and he looked over there and he was like Kaiser Sose or whatever. Like after the relationship was over, like all of those moments that would be separated in between by normal human behavior, came sharply into focus, and then the trauma of the narcissism abuse manifested, and it's fine, and I healed, and no one has to do anything about this, okay? Because there's so much distance. I'm just saying, like, I guess what I was trying to tell you is this, like, I have a certain, yes, in sickness and in health, thank you for taking care of me. But on the other hand, it means a lot to me because I also know the dark side of it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And you're just saying, like, you can bring a bucket to the side of the bed. Like, that's no big deal for you. Like, it's not, and it shouldn't be. And we're people, and we have to be kind to each other. But my point is, sometimes in those moments, it triggers a memory from many, many years ago. Like, it's a horrible lesson.
I get that.
Anyway, back to this week. Okay? Because what? There was an election. So the election happened. I was so fucking tired. Well, first of all, I had to drink a soda, like a sugar soda on the day.
That's right.
Because I was like, I'm sick and I want a fucking.
And we had in our fridge a cheer wine that Rhea Butcher had brought over, I guess, to watch a baseball game at some point.
Rhea brought it over, like, I want to say over a year ago.
I bet
but she brought it.
I think it was more than a year ago.
They brought it
brought over, I think it was more than a year ago because.
No, it was. You think it was
I think it was a while. They brought like a sort of assortment of drinks. There were a couple cheer wines. There were a couple liquid deaths, that canned water.
I know,
there were like a few different things.
I want to say that was a year ago, but
I feel like it was longer. I don't know. I can't judge time anymore.
All I know is that that last cheer wine was in there, and I was like, I'm fucking drinking that cheer wine. And I drank it, and it was goddamn. What's that stuff called? Mecca, money, mana
from heaven?
Thank
Mecca
you.
Money. And Lord, please rain down the Mecca money on us, on your people. Let us know. Oh, that lady doing the power prayer for Trump.
I didn't watch all of it.
She's like the spiritual advisor of the White
Oh,
House.
she's losing her mind.
Oh, it's so great.
Wait, what about the prayer ladies at the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
So
keep going.
First, the spiritual advisor. I forget her name.
Paula something. Am I wrong? Isn't it Paula something?
Something like that?
She's some blonde reverend huckster.
Yes. Yeah. And she's
I think she's mentioned in Michael Cohen's book.
Oh, good.
Because Michael Cohen talked about the evangelicals.
Evangelicals.
I could never join that club because I can't say it.
And they make you say it every meeting. Who are we? You have to do a big cheer.
They came in and Trump pretended to pray with them or something.
Yeah.
And he described. There's a whole scene in his book about, and I think it's
with
her.
Them all laying hands on him.
But I think that's the lady.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And she's doing this, an abundance of rain. She's doing this crazy thing. You think her glasses are going to slide off her nose? They never do.
Oh yeah, you posted it because that guy walking
back and
her.
forth behind her, reading a Bible. It's
a mess.
There's a great remix that somebody made that Tawny Newsome sent me, and that I reposted. It's all bananas. Everything is ridiculous. Then there were the women.
Group.
Was that in Arizona?
Yes, I think it was in Arizona. They were outside the Maricopa County or something like that county where they were counting stuff, and they were kneeling down in their MAGA gear and praying or whatever. Yeah. And I sent it to some friends. And Jeannie was like, same girl, same. Because we were yeah.
Because they were praying for truth and justice to prevail.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Truth and justice to prevail. And we're like, y'all are.
Yeah. No, doy.
So the mess of... So I find this election satisfying on a couple... Did we talk about Nate Silver? We did, right?
Yes, we did.
Just sort of like... well, he had predicted, and here's where he was wrong. He thought it was going to be
that fucking idiot.
Well, Florida was off. Here's the problem. People are like, how can the Florida polls be so off? And I have 2 words for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Okay.
Voter suppression.
Mm-hmm.
Something like however many thousand, 150,000, something, 200,000 ballots left in the
521,600 ballots.
I'm just saying, like, you think you know the number of Florida and you don't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah, it was off. Also, it was a long shot because it's fucking Florida.
Yeah.
It's fucking Florida. And my recommendation at the end of the episode is going to be related to all this.
Oh, I know what it's going to be.
But, like, so the hope was because Florida can count. Florida's different in these other battlegrounds that they are allowed to start counting way ahead of the day.
Right.
So the tally is not suspenseful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas Pennsylvania, they all were suspenseful.
Hear me now. You know what I'm saying? You used to go to Florida. You used to count some ballots. Jar Jar.
Oh, it's Jar Jar?
Yeah, Jar Jar.
Oh, wouldn't it be cute if they had a baby Jar Jar?
Oh, fuck. Yes, it would. Maybe
Shit.
they do. I haven't seen season 2 of The Mandalorian. Is
With
out.
a
I haven't watched it yet.
Baby Yoda, like how many other babies? And there should be a whole
Baby
universe.
Chewbacca, of
Well, because
course.
remember Baby Muppets.
Muppet Babies.
Oh, Muppet Babies.
Yeah. That was a little after my time, Muppet Babies.
It wasn't part of my deal, but I mean, I respected it, you know?
I've nothing but respect. Mad respect for Muppet Babies.
So Nate said, he was like, it's going to be decisive on the night. Mm-hmm. He's the only one because most of the journalists said Red Mirage.
Right.
That's what they said. Red Mirage. We hear sirens.
Y'all hear them sirens?
Someone's getting up into some trouble.
Oh, someone's going to get us trouble in the podcast.
So he was like, and I think he was sort of thinking like Florida might, I don't know what he was thinking, but like, I will say this. If Florida had gone blue Tuesday night,
mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be sitting here where we are.
No, we'd be dead.
Because of that suicide pact we made.
That's right.
About if Florida went blue.
We did that to keep us together because it's such a weird possibility. Like, of course, that'll never happen.
Anyway.
What a weird pact.
None of this stuff that's happening right now is out of the norm of what happens in counting ballots and making it right, making sure. And the only reason they're not calling these certain states on the news is the litigious Cheeto in chief. y'all don't know this. Y'all don't know this, but
people will give Janie credit for making that up. She was the first one to say it.
I do this all the time. I call him as a joke. It's like a joke for Paul.
It's meta, guys. It's like it's ironic.
I pretend like I'm saying something really funny, like your boomer uncle.
Yeah,
and I'm like, he's the Cheeto in chief. Because like whenever like one of your boomer relatives goes off on a tangent on social media, it always involves the Cheeto in chief. Yeah. The Cheeto in chief said this, and they think that they're like doing like a whole zinger. I mean, they think it's like, and I'm fine with it.
Sure. Let me say this too. I think it's unfair to Cheetos. I think Circus Peanut would have been a better. Every once in a while you see that. I think that would have been a better thing.
And the ch, you got the alliteration.
Of course, Cheeto and Chief.
The alliteration.
The alliteration.
Alliteration.
Hey, you got to have a sit down, have some alliteration. And also when people say Mitch McConnell looks like a turtle, here's the thing. You know I love turtles. This is not a secret.
Here it comes, y'all.
I've said this online and I'll say it here. if I post a picture of a turtle, don't ruin it by making some Mitch McConnell comment.
Also, can I just say this? Do turtles have purple hands?
They sure don't.
Because they don't.
They sure don't.
Because they don't. They don't.
We still don't know what happened. Like, I guess he fell?
Honey.
We never got the full story.
No,
oh, wait, you said that like I was being so naive.
Honey. Okay, so I have a friend who works on a network medical drama.
Uh-huh.
And apparently I've got some inside scoop.
Why have you not shared this with me?
I guess because...
You thought I couldn't handle it?
I
tried to shield you from this world.
I guess because I just thought there was like a lot. I don't know. Sometimes I'm having these conversations on my devices, and it feels like I've shared it with you, but I haven't.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like played out so vividly in my imagination. Anyway, so the consulting doctor on this network medical procedural apparently said it's like a sign of liver disease.
Oh, wow.
Right?
There were Band-Aids involved, but could that have been from IVs or something?
Sure. I mean, sure.
Wow.
I don't know.
But he also had
Also,
like
by
a
the
fucked
way,
up lip or something, didn't he?
Wait, I don't remember that.
I thought so. I can't remember.
All I know is I tried to Google like purple hands. Purple hands.
Purple hands.
Also, was it one or two hands? I think it was just the one.
That's a good question. I feel like both of
Purple
his
hand. Purple hand.
I feel like both of his hands were messed up. Purple hands. Purple hands. Imagine Mitch McConnell saying
What if he's really good at karaoke? We don't know.
I never meant to cause you any harm. I never meant to cause you any pain. All I want to do is see you dancing in the purple rain. The American people.
But sing it though.
Touch, if you will, my stomach.
Just sing it.
Feel how it trembles inside.
Sing it.
No, I can't. I don't know. What if he has a beautiful singing voice?
That's what I'm saying.
If he's
what
like
if
a Jim Neighbors.
What if when he goes home to Kentucky?
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to sing Purple Rain. I never meant to cause you any sorrow.
That honestly, you know, he should just resign and like do that. Then like put out the album because
maybe Mitch McConnell wanted to be a singer.
What if he? Okay,
we got to take a break. By the way.
Oh shit. Oh wait. Also got to pee, but also because we have our sponsors.
Yes, we have a couple sponsors this week.
Green Chef and Usual
Wines. Who gets in there first?
Hey, please enjoy a word from our sponsors.
We are happy once again to be sponsored by Usual Wines. Thank you, Usual. Usual Wines are terrific. Each bottle is 6.3 ounces. That is a heavy pour, or about a glass and a half of wine, so no more pouring wine down the sink when you don't want to finish the bottle. Because of the single-serve format and bottle design, Usual is always fresh, no more flat, bubbly, or stale rosé. And the wines are low-carb and have 0 grams of sugar. But, Paul, don't grapes contain sugar? Well, to clarify, all Usual wines are produced using natural, sustainable grapes harvested every fall. These grapes are picked at optimal ripeness to ensure all sugar will be fermented completely until the wines are dry with no residual sugar. All that is left over is delicious, clean wine. The process of fermentation happens when natural yeasts eat the naturally occurring sugar in the grapes. In goes sugar, out comes alcohol. Some winemakers will purposefully end fermentation early to keep a little sugar in the wine. Usual wines are fermented until no more sugars are in the wine. This ensures the wines are as dry as possible and lower in calories. So, it's good and it's lower in calories. This is a win-win. Usual has a red blend, a rosé, and a sparkling white called Brut. We've tried them all. They're all delicious, and I think the bottles actually look pretty cool. And Usual has a special holiday product coming early this month, Usual Reserve, an ultra-premium limited edition Mount Veeder Cabernet Sauvignon. Introducing Usual Reserve. This is our most special wine yet. Usual says, just in time for the holidays. Hailing from one of the most celebrated plots of land in all of Napa, this Cabernet Sauvignon is concentrated and rich with just enough grip. Gift it to someone special or keep it all for yourself. The holidays, as usual. Go to usualwines.com and use our discount code stayfhomekins for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. That is usualwines.com. Discount code stayfhomekins for $8 off your first order.
This app is sponsored by Green Chef. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable with plans to fit every kind of lifestyle. With a variety of meal kits including vegan, vegetarian, paleo, and keto. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging in every box. Offering contactless delivery to your doorstep for easy home cooking. Recipes include pre-made measured sauces, dressings, and spices so you can get more flavor in less time. I cook a lot, and a lot of the mental labor is coming up with a menu. What's great about Green Chef is they send you a box with all of that creative work already done for you and everything portioned out and ready to cook. So if you like to cook, it's actually quite pleasurable to use Green Chef. Also, now that Green Chef is owned by HelloFresh, they offer a wider array of meal plans to choose from. We've tried both Green Chef and HelloFresh, and we love it. Visit greenchef.com/homekins90. Use code homekins90 to get $90 off plus free shipping. That's greenchef.com/homekins90 with code homekins90 for $90 off plus free shipping.
Never meant to cause you in a trouble.
I never want to cause you any sorrow. I never want to cause you any pain or pain of the American people.
Wait, remember his weird laugh? His like,
I don't.
Remember, like, he was, like,
familiar.
laughing. There was, like, something kind of recently where he was talking about something very callous and, like, people dying of coronavirus or something. And he was like,
About how he was gonna subvert justice, and it's hilarious.
He was going to what?
Subvert justice.
I don't remember.
What a great guy.
This is before the election.
Anyway, he seems like an immortal monster we are all cursed to deal with.
Here's the thing. It's like, everyone's like, I can't believe you can't vote him out. And I'm like, I think the problem is that you have this state that has the most powerful. I mean, I would argue he's more powerful than Trump.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's the one.
He's the one.
He's the one. For sure. And I get that if that's your guy and he has all that power, of course you're going to do everything to keep him installed. I think it's very
difficult to overthrow.
And listen, I was one of the people that wanted to believe, oh man, if we just threw a ton of money into Kentucky, maybe it would happen. And then we now know that that's not going to do it. Here's
the reality. And if you're talking money, he's worth more money. And I'm not talking about his net worth. I'm talking about his worth to Kentucky.
Yeah, of course.
Is worth so much higher than any freshman senator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you have to be way more strategic about how you're going to take these House and Senate seats and stuff like that. Yes. You can't just be like, there were viable candidates, strong candidates. There's that progressive candidate, and then
Charles Booker, yeah.
And then there was that, sort of moderate veteran. I mean, but on paper, come on. I mean, for white, and racism exists there so bad.
But look, the point is,
yeah, I'm listening.
Don't ruin turtles by saying that looks like Mitch McConnell.
Well, I'm just saying, everyone's like, I can't believe you can't get rid of this and that. And I'm like, zoom out. That's my point.
Zoom out, everybody. Stop leaning in and start zooming out.
Because power is so intoxicating.
Oh, I love it.
And it's worth so much, And the Cheeto in Chief. The Cheeto in Chief has lost his power. Okay, y'all.
What?
He's lost it. And just today, hearing stories of Republican lawmakers not returning his calls.
It's so funny.
And he is reportedly going to be dragged out kicking and screaming. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. And I'm just saying, power, I guess, can be corrupt. It can corrupt you.
I guess it can.
I guess it can make you.
You know the old saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Make you lie. It can make you incite violence, but only if you're weak. If you are strong, you don't do that shit.
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's like we said before, we talked about before how nobody gets out of the White House without blood on their hands. Like it's a weird thing to want power in the first place.
Right?
Like it's one thing to say, like, I want control over myself, my own destiny. I want to live a life where I can do what I choose to do and not constantly be under the thumb of someone else or under the gun of time.
Are you asking me for a divorce? Fine. You don't have to pick up your socks. Okay.
Little window into our world, guys. I leave my socks all over the place.
Message received. Fine.
It could be worse. You could be married to the Cheeto in chief.
the Cheeto in chief. All right. You're just saying, like, people who want power and why, like, what motivates them.
It's a weird thing, yeah. Like, even people you like that are politicians, it's like, why? That's a strange thing.
I like that Katie Porter. I want Gavin Newsom.
I do like Katie Porter.
I want Gavin Newsom to tap her for
ass. I ship it. Look, I ship it. If you guys read my Katie Porter, Gavin Newsom /fic.
I want to tap her for Kamala's empty seat. I want her on Kamala's empty seat. God. How dare you?
How dare you?
Oh my God. Gavin Newsom used to be married to that psycho bitch.
This is fucking weird.
What's her name? Lori something.
I can't
or
remember
other?
her name right now.
Guilfoyle?
Kimberly Guilfoyle. Don Jr.'s
I feel sad about her
girlfriend.
though, and I'll tell you why. I have a thing where really beautiful women, like when you see pictures of them before their plastic surgery compared to them after their massive copious amounts of like I instinctively feel like, oh, someone hurt, you have a wound.
Yeah. Well, especially when they're young. Like she's not like an elderly lady. You know what I mean?
Okay, so y'all need to like Google Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Here's your assignment.
Because like she was like Angelina I mean, like she was gorgeous.
She was lovely. And listen, you're gonna have to Google it because I will not put her picture on the Instagram.
Oh, that's right. We do our reference photos. You won't put the sweet version.
No, I don't want her on there.
I'm just saying, like, it's like something going on there. There's something going on there.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like layers of psychological trauma or something.
Yeah.
Because why would you do that to your... Well, I mean, anyway, people do it in Hollywood. It's like a thing. People do it everywhere.
People do it everywhere.
Look, I might do... I'm not...
What?
I'm saying, like, fine, like, let your freak flag fly, do what you want. But on the other hand...
You've talked about getting that eye thing done
I'm gonna.
when you're older.
Yeah. Well, no, like, I want to do it next year. No, my dad had to do it because... and insurance covered it because... when your eye skin droops down and you can't see through the flaps, through the curtains of your fucking eyes, your eye skin curtains, like literally, like insurance will cover it. And here's my thing is like, it's happening to me. It's just, I'm not like,
see, I can't see.
Oh, I can. But here's the deal. My whole argument is, listen, insurance company, I'm probably going to live a long time out of spite because I'm angry. And you're going to have to pay for it once the curtain version droops down. You may as well just like nip it in the bud, like literal, like give me the money for it now. Cut it off.
Nip it in the tuck.
Oh, I used to love that show, Nip Tuck, by the way.
You did love that show.
I
remember
loved
that. Yeah.
Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
I was like a Nip Tuck person. Did y'all watch that show? It's trash. I'm sure, honestly, like, but it was like one of my stories. Like, I'd have to watch it on the week.
Wait a minute. You say, trash reminded me of Southern Charm.
Okay, that's where I wanted to go with this.
Yes.
Because we were like, okay, fine, election, blah, blah, blah. But we started the episode and you mentioned the Real Housewives. And
that seems like a million years ago.
and
is that what it's like to listen to this podcast?
We have
everyone.
we have this one show.
We do not watch reality shows save for Southern Charm or Southern Charms?
Charm.
Southern Charm.
You in the purple hand, Southern Charm. Southern Charm.
But I know it's Sally Field. We started watching that show because it's set in Charleston, and we were curious about it, but we waited a while.
Well, the reason that we started watching it when we did that like 2 summers ago is we were doing this project. We were pitching this show, scripted show.
It's set in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes, and I had this curiosity. I had only heard
where Janie grew up. If we haven't,
I grew up there.
before,
even though I was born in West Virginia, we talk about West Virginia.
Born in West Virginia, but grew up on Sullivan's Island.
Yes, in Charleston. So I had only ever heard that it was terrible.
The show.
Yeah, like not even like just terrible in terms of like a trashy reality show, but like people from Charleston do not approve of this sort of like packaging. Like it's an ugly,
because like you're hanging out at a bar or restaurant and then here comes this dumb camera crew with their big gigantic ring lights.
But not even just sort of like the logistics of it.
They don't like the representation.
The representation is not accurate. The representation of growing up in Charleston is obviously not this.
This is one aspect of it.
I would even argue.
I mean, there are people that like that, but it's the idea that this is like this show is presenting. This is what these people are like in this region.
Yes, and since we binged the show and we're not like part of the whole evolution of it, which by the way, like it's like I'm just gonna try cocaine. You know what I mean? It's like that. And then the next thing you know, like you have a habit.
Yeah.
Like I'm on message boards. I've listened to podcasts. Like I've gone.
You really got in deep.
Well, I just like I think what it was I kind of got what people's thing was. It's like, you know what it is? It's like it's new soap operas because it's soap operas that you can interact with and engage with. Like you get to immerse yourself into and kind of like.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's in the way that you get involved in that people used to get involved in soap operas, and maybe they still do, I don't know, where you sort of really get invested in the twists and turns of the lives and the characters and everything. And what makes it more intense with reality shows is that it's the veneer of reality.
Right, and
it's
they're
like,
not even acting.
This is what these people
they're
are like.
Just a real
Cuckoo, hi.
Finally.
I know, where have you been?
I think,
But you kind of know it's all bullshit. Like it's all kind of scripted.
Sure, it is.
You know.
But it's with amateurs. It's not with trained actors, and so there is an element of kind of unpredictability to it in a way where they're kind of people who are psychologically vulnerable. Like they're they're
that's the appearance. Like we don't know. We're seeing the finished product. We don't know how actually vulnerable they are. And even watching the absolute worst is the reunion shows.
Yeah.
Andy Cohen sits there and they interview each other like it's all real and all that shit. And it's so annoying because without editing, these people are even more boring. Right. Here's the problem with Southern Charm.
There's a lot of problems with it because Yeah, you tell your problem, but I'm gonna go. I have a deep dive I want to go on. But
like I would imagine with a lot of reality shows,
uh-huh.
the people are uninteresting people. They're not smart or funny or likable.
Uh-huh.
They are just willing to be on this show and willing to stir up fake drama.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that you get invested in them. What's really funny about Southern Charm, and I don't know if this is part and parcel of a lot of reality shows, because all these Real Housewives shows, like I know that there are stars that come out of that show.
Yeah.
Like, I know who some of these people. I know who Bethany Frankel is.
Yeah, of course.
I know who Nene
she's
Leakes
like an
is.
entrepreneur. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. But I know them from Countess Luann without having watched the show.
Right.
I know who these people are. But what's funny about Southern Charm is that they can't keep people on the show.
Well, the casting is nothing like those other shows. The casting is not even. It never hit it out of the park like those other shows.
No, it started. They thought they had when it started out. There was this dude who was this horrible fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Who was a wealthy Charleston guy who was running for office. He used to be the state treasurer or something of South Carolina.
No, there was like he ran for treasurer or something, and there was like a cocaine scandal.
He did have some. He did hold some office though, at some point.
I thought he just ran.
He was the treasurer, and then he was going to run for Senate after he got out of jail.
All I know is that he's sort of a laughing stock. He's not somebody that
Yeah, he's a goon. Thomas Ravenel. He's a fucking ridiculous.
T-Rav.
Oh God.
But here's the thing about the so
my
speaking
point-
of the beginning
hold on.
of Southern Charm.
Yes, my point is like the show is sort of became shaped around him and his circle of these sort of like wealthy, whatever they wealthy Charlestonians, people that come from money. They live the life of the idle rich, and he had this relationship with this younger woman, and
But
that was the central.
But the sort of premise of of the beginning of the show, or the way it was pitched, and how and now it's devolved,
right.
was that the idea was the eligible, rich, handsome, genteel bachelors of Charleston are so desirable to women, but they're ungettable because they have this Peter Pan complex.
Right.
And that
which
there
explains
were,
the theme song.
And that there were more gorgeous women in Charleston. And I think there is like a surplus of gorgeous, eligible women in Charleston. No, I think that's like a thing. Like there's like a.
I know, but I love it if like the survey said they were gorgeous.
Well,
here's the breakdown. For every man, there are 3 gorgeous women.
You know how, like, when you were single and your aunt would send you those articles that, like, honey, you should move to Alaska. There's, like, 3 eligible bachelors for every... You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's...
Did you get stuff like that?
I'm just saying that's, like, a thing. And then... But, like, in Charleston, it's apparently the other way around, that there's all of these eligible men.
Yes.
And so they get to run around and be total, like...
dumb, boring assholes.
Playboys or whatever.
Playboys.
So as the show evolved, what happened was you saw they were all just a bunch of troubled alcoholics. And the women were kind of like, no, it's not that we want to be with you. We just think you suck. Like you're a problem.
Right.
Like you're a problem, you're embarrassing, and we're smarter, like we're better than you.
Yeah.
And then it sort of like took this whole journey in a way. I mean, there was an interesting sort of subtext about it, but then Thomas Ravenel got kicked off the show.
Yeah.
Because
after a few seasons.
Because of his sexual assault problems.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, this guy.
He's like settled with like 2 or 3 women.
Yeah.
And then the young woman that he took up with, and
they have 2 kids together.
Two kids together, and she's I like her. She's kind of my favorite cast
she
member.
Is Catherine, who is by far the most interesting person on the show.
But she's also like 10 or 12 years younger than every single person on that show.
Yeah.
And she's had a drug problem through the thing. And she's had, she's gotten in trouble for saying insensitive, racist things inadvertently. Like she's And then she's hooked up with the Thomas after she knows he made her life hell, tried to steal the children, and and she's like, but she's like a real. Here's what's likable about her besides her problems: she's a real person who is.
She does seem like the most real person on the show.
Yeah, she's just like, I have these feelings, and these are my feelings.
You know what? I'm sorry. Maybe not. She seems like the most down to earth person on the show. Somebody that you would actually hang out with, and you feel like you could have a conversation.
Someone that you would actually hang out with who might be problematic and immature,
right? And
then you'd be like,
"But at
Catherine's immature."
But
like Catherine said this. Can you fucking believe she said this? And then you would like sit her down, and you'd be like, "Catherine, you can't say that. You can't be that way." And then she'd be like, "Okay, you're right."
Now, here's the thing about reality shows. This is what drives me crazy.
I feel like I know these people.
Is that Well, that's the thing, is that we watch this, it's absolute garbage. Like Southern Charm
it's not even a good reality show.
Southern Charm is objectively a bad show.
Reality show. Like it's not even like
But the problem is, the infuriating thing is, you find yourself having an opinion. And you start to express it, and it's like every time it's like, wait a minute, this is all bullshit.
There have been so many cast members on that show over the years, and I'm like, she's a nightmare. She's a narcissist, and you should not. And I'm like, run away from her. Like, are you kidding me with her? Like, she's using you.
But it makes me mad every time.
And then I'll like go and read up on the people in real life, and I'm like,
you should not do.
Oh, I think they really are bad news. Like this podcast I listen to.
I think not to paint people with too broad a brush, but I think if you are signing up to be on one of those shows, there's something off about you.
You say that, but we're in show business, and there's a part of me that also feels like,
for sure, I don't deny that, but But here's the thing:
they make a good paycheck.
Sure.
This is not like small potatoes.
If it's a hit, though.
Those series regulars, they make
it's a hit. I don't think it starts out where it's like, we're going to give you all this.
No, you're
money.
right. But also it launches their businesses because it gives them free advertisement. Yeah. Makes them influencers.
But it's got to be such an intrusion on their lives. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with us for going into show business.
It's a sickness.
It's a sickness. But it's like, at least we get to pretend to be, other things.
Right, we get to have a private life. A private life. Yeah. Like that girl, Catherine, who is my favorite cast member. Yeah. Because she got involved in the show when she was 19 or something, or 19 or 20.
Something like that, yeah.
That she, I don't think she's had a private adult life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So and then hopefully when this is done,
which is very
she
weird.
can have a second chapter.
Yeah. I hope so, man. I mean, she's a young mom, and it's like
she's a young mom, and I don't know, she struggles.
But there's a new.
I'm sure she might. I don't know. I don't know why I like her the most.
She's likable. She's likable.
But but she has said immature things.
She has.
And done immature things.
She's immature. She's young. But she's also funny. Every once in a while she says something that's like, that was genuinely funny and smart. But we started watching the new season.
Which is the worst season so far.
So, okay. This thing has been on for so long. Early on, I want to say
is this the seventh season?
I have no idea.
I think it's the 7th season.
In the 2nd season, they started losing main cast members, and they started rotating in these other people who are like,
the one cast member we kind of liked, and then he might be in jail. That whiskey guy. We can't even remember his name.
He was by default more likable than some of the other. No, he was the wife. He was the husband of one of the cast members.
No, I think
we would see him every once in a while.
No, he just had Sir Metz or something, and they would hang out there.
Yeah, but he would every once in a while he'd be at a party or something.
Yeah, but his wife wasn't on it. I mean, we would see his wife, but she wasn't a cast member. He was just a friend.
Oh, really?
He was just a friend to the main cast.
Oh, he's just a friend.
But then, I was like, whatever happened to... I forgot his name. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember either.
And then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, he embezzled money, and his wife left him, and maybe he's in jail, and he's his whole, restaurant empire fell.
Yeah. He was he seemed like
he was
an
normal, alcoholic.
Sort of hail fellow, well-met, kind of every once in a while you'd see him.
He might stir it up a little bit, but on the other hand, he was
always
so drunk by the time
he
said this shitty stuff.
They drink all the time.
They drink all the time.
But so by now they've lost so many of the original people on the show.
Yeah, they're none of the original. Like honestly, like
they have to shove in all these new people
every season.
Yeah,
Every season.
No one wants to stay on this thing.
Nobody.
They even what I love
Nobody.
What I loved is this season they had to stir up a controversy about somebody who's not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, you said this thing about, what's her name was not on the show anymore. It really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
So now they're creating this storyline around this person who left the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys. Like it's the laziest. It's the laziest.
They had nothing because these people are so boring. It's
but
like
then
they
they
can't
have
come up
like
with
the new.
storylines.
They have the new sad dad guy.
Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, you were gonna get to the guy. Okay.
This dude. He looks like he's easily 20 years older than everybody else, but he is dyeing his hair and beard.
He's
but
actually
he's not
the same age as
Yeah,
Shep.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I was watching him, and I'm like, he reminds me of somebody. Who is it?
I tweeted it already.
And I realized he reminds
I stole
me.
your joke.
No, you didn't steal. You
Okay.
gave me credit. He reminds me of the actor John Michael Higgins, who's been in a lot of the Christopher Guest movies. He was in Best in Show. He was in A Mighty Wind. He was on that sitcom Good News. You've seen him in a million things. He was the guy in Seinfeld that shaved his head even though he had a full head of hair. And then Elaine makes him grow his hair back.
But I just want to say they introduced this new character. He's supposed to be, again, I think they're trying to get back to their roots about like hot eligible men. But it's never about the men. It's always about the So they bring this guy. They bring this guy on, and I don't want to knock him. He's just not my physical. I could say
physically he's fine.
If he were on a beer commercial, and he could,
I wouldn't be surprised.
He couldn't. He could be.
Yeah.
Then I get it, but like he's just not my situation. So I'm kind of like, okay, he's just sort of like a. If
he were on a Moosehead beer commercial from 1985, I wouldn't be surprised.
Honestly, maybe he was because we don't know how old he is.
I know.
So anyway, but what is so funny about them bringing this supposed eligible bachelor on is the poor guy is getting on his feet after a traumatic divorce where he now lives 3,000 miles away from his small children who he clearly loves and has mentioned every time he's been on the, on which one great, great. But he's like grieving, obviously.
But here's the thing. Okay, so he talks a lot about his music.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, wait.
But really,
the saddest moment. Okay, wait.
But really, he trades commodities.
Okay, wait. What was the funniest part?
He's like, why do you have to be in Charleston? Be near your fucking kids.
Well, his family isn't. He grew up.
So what?
But he needs a support system, and he wasn't like. He said he wasn't. Listen, he probably wants to bring the kid. I mean,
I'm sure he does. We're getting into this like
these people.
Here's
the thing that was funny in the last episode, though, was because. So in the first episode, which Paul didn't watch, but don't worry, I told him every detail about him.
And to be fair, I asked.
He was giving his whole story, like his whole life story. And so he showed everyone around his little like sad dad pad. And he does have bunk beds for the boys when they come, and
they always have bunk beds. For the boys.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But he's on Sullivan's Island, which by the way, that's where I grew up. It used to be this like jungly hippy dippy. Oh, and by the way, you need to sign this petition because they're trying to fucking cut down the maritime forest. These fucking greedy motherfuckers.
What?
All right, that's a whole other situation. That might go up on our Twitter because I want y'all to sign that guy.
Well, they want to put up fucking McMansions there.
I don't even. I can't even deal. So it used to be like if you lived in Charleston, if you lived on the barrier islands, that was less cool because you were like. Far out.
Yeah, you were
like
downtown.
In the sticks.
You were
you were like in a suburb or something. Now, if you don't live on one of the barrier, like it's only it's like the richest. Like my family doesn't live there. Like there's no no. A lot of my family friends that I grew up with cannot live there anymore. Like it's just like a thing. So it's a totally different place. So to live there, you need a lot of money now. Like when I grew up there, like I think my mom and stepdad rented a fucking 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, giant beach house for $400 a month.
Was that the Blue House?
The Blue House. So, which is not blue anymore. But like, I'm just saying, like, it was just like you would just rent there. You could rent a giant. I'm talking like almost 3,000 square foot, 2-story wraparound porch. I mean, but like there were issues. Like there were like maybe roaches and like. But it was great because like you were by the like you could hear the beach at night and the wind would blow and it would blow through the floorboards or something, you know, like the French doors, like there was like no insulation and
the wind in the floorboard.
But now it's like McMansion land, and it's a different situation.
Yeah,
but he's renting this. He showed people around. I'm sure he pays through the nose because it's near the beach. But it was a little depressing.
Like, do you think the show set him up in that place?
No, because he's
You think he actually lives there?
I think no, because I don't think he's got the status as a cast member on that show to negotiate something like that.
Well, but I don't think it's about negotiation so much as like the show needs him to be on it. They need people.
Well, you didn't see his place, and they did not set him up in that place.
Good point.
It was like
fair enough.
I mean, it was like a fishing cabin. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was like
sounds like heaven.
I mean, I actually think it probably is heaven. I'm sure it is heaven, and I'm not trying to knock this in any way. But what I'm trying to explain is that this guy is trying to start a new chapter in his life.
And what better way to do it than on a reality show?
I'm sure, but so on the latest
I did this for you kids.
So on the latest episode, though, that someone asked him about if he had a nice suit, and then he said he lost it in
the divorce.
So like I guess he got clean. His clock got cleaned, and he wouldn't say a bad word about his ex. But then the saddest thing happened.
Very gallant.
The saddest thing happened besides his music stuff, which was Catherine, who is in love with her children, was making small talk with him at this party, and she was like, "Oh, my little girl is in acting class," and like just beaming with how you would talk about like your toddler.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she goes, "Oh, my little girl's in acting class. It's so, you know, whatever, da 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 da." And then he goes, "Yeah." Sorry. This is so wrong. If this gets out on the internet, I feel like a dick. But these people put their lives on display. So,
yeah.
Okay, so he goes, "Yeah, I went to acting school. And then I decided to focus on my music. But now I'm a commodities trader." Like, with total... I mean, like, the subtext was like Willy Loman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the subtext was like, I might kill myself to, like, how did I end up... Like, this guy, like, has clearly gone through something.
A couple things. Like, if you're saying, yeah, I tried acting school, but then I focus on my music. Now I'm in commodities. It's like, okay... That's a 1-2. That's a 1-2 punch. Because usually it's like, yeah, I tried that, and now I just have a regular job.
But
it's like he had another pipe dream in between.
Listen, I'm not laughing at somebody's dreams being shattered because my dreams have still never come true fully. So I can say this, I think, because I'm not like.
Well, it never.
What did it?
The dream never ends. Is the thing.
But sure, but if I had 2 kids, it might. Okay,
right. And
so I get it. But here's the deal.
Hey, we still might be on a reality show. Who knows?
Honestly, this podcast is a reality show.
Old couples of Hollywood.
Middle-aged. Well,
I'm saying by the time they develop that show. Yeah.
So my point was, like, it wasn't small talk like I studied to be a circus. It's
Yeah.
funny. No one knows this about me, but I did trapeze for 10 years before I started my own business. It was like that. It was like it was like wistful and there was longing, but he didn't know it was there.
Yes, because he didn't deliver it wistfully. He delivered it very
matter of fact.
So it's like
he made his peace with it.
Apparently, but he didn't make his peace with it enough to not bring it up.
That's exactly right.
Nobody needed it brought up.
When her little girl was doing...
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, when's the play and can they come?
Because what is your point? Like, I have a lot in common with your toddler. We should hang out.
I think he was trying to... I think he's in a place... This is my assessment of what's his name.
Okay, you give yours and I'll give mine. We can't remember his name.
I think I remember his name, but I want to call him the
Beardo?
the actor guy.
John Michael Higgins, yeah.
Well, and then I had a politically incorrect assessment of what I was going to call him off microphone.
I don't remember, but let's leave that there.
Remember?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway,
it's now I feel like
I'm fine with it.
Do we have to say it?
No. I think it's better.
You're okay. Okay. It's not, but I don't want
I think
people
it's politically incorrect.
I know what you mean, but I'm afraid people are going to think like a far worse thing than you even said.
No, I think it's better left unsaid.
All right.
Because there's going to be one person out there that's like, whatever.
But it's not. This is stuff. Now we've talked about it a lot.
He looks like an actor who's a little person, but he himself is not.
Yes, he looks like Peter Dinklage.
But he's not the same height.
Yes, exactly. But he's not the same height. In case you're thinking.
He doesn't have, is it dwarfism?
I think so.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand the political correct way to talk about this.
Yes.
And now I've said it on the thing.
Yes. He looks like a famous little
person. Come at me, y'all.
He looks
come
like
at me, because I don't know how to talk
don't
about
come
this.
at her. Leave Brittany alone. He looks like a famous little person if they were not a little person.
Is little person even okay?
Yes.
All right. Fine.
You would think it wasn't. But that's the preference.
What I'm saying is his face is like that chiseled, bearded. He just resembled him to me.
Do you know who else looks like Peter Dinklage? Is Ben Gibbard, the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie.
I don't.
When he has a beard, I think they resemble each other.
There you go. My point is that he is probably not emotionally ready to be on this reality show.
That's probably true.
However, he came back. He's lost. He's lost because he had a family and now he doesn't have the family. Mm-hmm. And he went back to Charleston to get in touch with his roots and be closer to more immediate family. And we don't know his situation. Like he may have an ailing parent or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He didn't mention it, but
he certainly mentioned everything else.
He mentioned a lot. But also, we just don't know. So he's back there and he's gotten on this reality show because he's like, I'm fucking lost. I don't have a wife. My kids live far away, except when I get to see them on the agreed times. Mm-hmm. I'm a commodities trader. And yet I studied acting. Maybe he'll get back in, and maybe this scratches an itch in a way of
He's
his.
Still on the music trip, though. Still on the music.
He's
tip,
got the music trip, and
yes.
Charleston may have more of a smaller city opportunity for him.
Perhaps
in that realm, okay. But also, I'm just saying, like, when you come on a reality show, you got to come out. You got to bust through. You're busting through the wall. You're coming out on the red carpet.
Here's the thing.
I feel bad now about my comparison of him to the actor on Game of Thrones. Like,
he does kind of look like him.
I know, but I feel like I'm not talking about it the right way, or I'm not like.
I think you're
approaching it.
Overthinking it. He does look like him. He does look like him, kind of.
But now
it's not crazy to say that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you're fine. I think you were just being overly cautious about it. People. I'll post pictures. People can make their own minds up.
Are you going to do a side by side, a pick stitch?
I won't do it. I won't do a pick stitch. It's funny to say it out loud. I will not do a side by side. I'll post a picture of the guy, and then people can decide for themselves.
What I really wish is that we could post him saying, "Yeah, I used to study.
I mean,
I went to acting school, and then I went to the into music,
and then I got into my music, and now I'm a commodities trader.
Now I trade commodities."
Still so funny. It's so
I'm not
funny
laughing at
to
this
me.
person. This person has pain, and I don't know, but he put himself on display.
Everybody has fucking pain.
He put himself on display.
Yes.
And I don't know.
Look.
He's on a soap opera, and it's one of my stories.
Exactly.
It's one of my stories.
And somehow it's one of mine too.
Also, Catherine Head and Shoulders has the most interesting style of any human on that show.
She has a definitive and I think
outrageous,
cool and interesting style. Yes,
like outrageous.
I think outrageous is going too far. I think she's fashionable.
But she is a little over the top sometimes, like with the hair and the lashes and the.
I think now when it's called for, she knows. Look, we're getting too minute about these people. Judge for yourselves. You can watch. We're getting to the wrap up time. I think we've given you more than enough to go on for Southern Charm. Make up your own mind.
I want to talk about Southern Charm on later episodes, though, because I feel like we should go on because there's more.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came up again.
Yeah, there's more.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any recommendations
Yes.
for this week? What do you have?
I do. I watched this documentary on HBO Max. I apologize if you don't have HBO Max, but please borrow somebody's login or something. Called 537 Votes. And it is a deep dive into the events that led to the Florida recounts in the 2000 presidential election. I don't know if they dropped this documentary specifically on this week. Mm-hmm. But I have to tell you, first of all, I lived through the recounts and I learned a lot because I did not understand the entire connection with like Miami politics, and I just didn't understand it. Like some of the people in the documentary, some of the people in the documentary are told like, well, did you know that so and so worked for the person that, and they were like, what? And these are people that were like on the ground at the time that were fighting the fight. They were fighting the ground fight, and it was just a very well done and not a somber documentary. Like it was like one of those documentaries where it's like. It had like an upbeat pace, and it just like, I don't know, like it was a great thing to watch as we were awaiting these returns to get called by the news networks, which they may have been called while we were on here, but I don't think they have been, or I think my phone would have blown up, but they're kind of waiting. Pennsylvania's waiting. Yeah. Anyway, I recommend the documentary 537 Votes because it's just the perfect companion to what we're experiencing right now.
Yes, and also to see if we have learned anything.
Also to see, you know how people are like, so after this election, they're like, I can't believe so many people voted for him. Like, we're so divided or whatever. Just look at the 2000 election. Like,
yeah.
Like, this has been years in the making.
Yeah.
And I think it's useful to know your history.
Absolutely, yes.
Because then you don't get taken off guard.
Yeah.
By these things that are going on. And you kind of know, like, oh, okay, this is human nature. This is how this is in the DNA of this country. And just keep a level head.
Yeah.
Keep fighting the good fight and keep a level head and don't get sucked into all this energy draining rhetoric like I do.
My recommendations are, I feel like I had something and I forgot it.
Really?
Yeah, but I will do some plugs. Friday the 13th of November, I'm doing an improv show with Mark Evan Jackson, Mr. Jackson and Mr. Tompkins.
Wonderful.
Mark and I, you know Mark Evan Jackson from he
Good
plays
Place.
Kevin Costner on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He plays Sean on The Good Place. You've seen him in a million things.
He's on
He's my
Babysitter's
buddy.
Club.
He's on Babysitter's Club. That's right.
The new baby.
He's my buddy from the Thrilling Adventure Hour, and we do a show where we put on tuxedos and we do a two gentlemen improv show. That is Friday the 13th.
Y'all should Google some of these reviews that they've gotten when they've done it.
We've gotten some nice reviews. Anyway.
All your shows are on Zoom, I should say.
Yes, of course.
They're streaming.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, from here on out, all shows until further notice. So that's Friday the 13th. That'll be 5 p.m. Pacific. Then Sunday, November 15th. I'm very excited about this. There was a show called Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist, starring Jonathan Katz. This is in the early days of Comedy Central. It's a great, beloved show. I loved it. I got to guest on it a couple times. And then since then, every once in a while, there's been a live event. There's another one coming up. Jonathan Katz was nice enough to invite me again. Sunday the 15th, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to be on that show with Oscar Nunez, Bob Saget, Susie Essman, Andy Kindler, John Hamm, and Laura Silverman as the doctor's receptionist.
And like Jonathan Katz is he's kind of like a legendary. He's like
so funny.
He's like a beloved comedy writer, performer.
Yeah, he's one of the funniest people that's ever lived.
He's like a beloved.
Yes, and Dr. Katz is such a great show, and so I'm thrilled to be doing that.
Yeah.
And then Monday, December 7th, of course, I will be back with Lauren Lapkus doing Lapkus and Tompkins Present Christmas in December. DynastyTypewriter.com, 5 p.m. Pacific. All the tickets are available at paulftompkins.com/live.
Man, that's a lot. And you can't remember your recommendation?
I can't, but that's fine. It'll keep. We are stayfhomekins on Instagram and Twitter, stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to write to us.
Yes.
We love hearing from you. We love posting pictures. We
check it all out. We don't really get
out.
to respond to everything, but we take it in.
Yes,
that
we
makes
do.
Sense.
And we appreciate you listening. We will be back next week. Looks like we'll be back next week.
By the way, guys, good job on that democracy thing.
Yes.
This is show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Let's make it better. All right. We'll be back next week. Until then.
Reduce the friction. You know what I'm saying? Stay safe.
Hold on.
Wait, I just wanted to mention kinshipgoods.com.
Yes.
They have our official podcast merch. I'm currently wearing my new favorite sweatshirt, which is our y'all.
So excited about this sweatshirt.
This sweatshirt's awesome. This is the best sweatshirt I've ever put on my body.
You're awesome, and you're the best person I've ever put on my body.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week.
I want to, but I'm supposed to.
Oh my God.
Well, I can't forget. They ran out of the weekend water mugs.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to let you guys know that there are more forthcoming and to remain patient and just keep visiting Kinship Goods.
Yes.
And also they have just a lot of other really cool merch. I'm not saying this because they're our collaboration partners. I'm not saying this because I'm in awe of their merch. And their
stuff is great.
Great.
Go poke around on their site and see. There's a lot of great gift ideas. All right. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.
Unless you're Donald Trump.